Welcome to the Success Partner Podcast. I'm Daya Naef, your host and founder of The Success Partner. On this show, we dive into the stories of attorneys, business professionals, and entrepreneurs who have navigated the ups and downs of building successful careers and businesses. From the strategies they've implemented to the challenges they've overcome, we're here to uncover the insights that can help you on your own journey to success. So sit back, relax, and let's get started. Welcome back, everybody, to the Success Partner Podcast. I am your host, Daya Naef. And today we have Rose Harper with us. I'm very excited. We actually got introduced via Armando Leduc of Leduc Entertainment. And so, Rose, I'd just like you to tell our audience about yourself. We talk about success as sort of a main theme, and just let us know what you want us to know.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be here. I recently opened my own law firm about 6 months ago, but obviously, like everyone, my journey began long ago. I grew up in Westchester County, New York, and I did not come from a family of lawyers. My father was a police officer, my mother a nurse. I'm the youngest of 3 children, and I actually became a mother myself at a very young age, 17. And I had to work and put myself through college as well as law school. I went to law school at Seton Hall Law right in Newark, New Jersey. And then I returned to New York for the first part of my career. I did insurance defense work. I was actually handling some high exposure complex cases, litigation work in Manhattan. Very competitive, definitely the shark's den. I learned a lot very quickly. And then I went on to work for in-house for insurance companies, handling jury trials for them.
Okay.
And I got a lot of experience. It was amazing. I definitely like the courtroom, like jury trials. I do a lot of speaking for litigation work and navigating those interactions with different types of people. So I have my clients, I have people that I'm working with, I have the judges, other attorneys who might be hostile to me. So it's just really interesting to learn all of those skills, how to navigate those interactions. And as a part of what I do now, I also am an adjunct professor at Mercy University in New York, where I graduated from for undergrad. And I teach intro to communications, which is something I really enjoy doing, kind of being an example for them that they can go on to accomplish anything they want after college. There weren't that many people that I knew at the time who were lawyers, let alone who went to Mercy University, but that way I can provide that example for them. So I really enjoy that. Kind of in the middle of my career, I decided that I wanted to switch over and help people and families. So that's why I switched over to plaintiff side, personal injury. Love it. I'm definitely a plaintiff's attorney for life. Sorry, all the defense attorneys. But I'm now here doing plaintiff's work. I love helping people. I definitely want to do that forever. And I finally met my husband and we had 2 more children. So we have 3 children total.
Okay.
And I took some time off to have our youngest 2 children. And also we moved for my husband's career. So during that time, I kind of thought like, okay, what do I really want to do moving forward? So that helped me to take that time to realize I want to help people and families and make really, connect with people and be able to be there for them. So like the clients I have now, they all have my direct cell phone number. I'm just able to build different types of relationships than I was, working for the insurance companies. So I'm really enjoying that. And also during that time, my husband and I created our own estate plan. And during that process, I realized, one, how important estate planning is for parents with minor children, also for business owners. And then also I realized, like, after I finished the process, I thought, wow, I have such a peace of mind now. I know I have a plan in place for my family. I know what's going to happen with my children, with my assets. It's all documented. And I provided that security for them. So that helped me to realize that I really want to do that for other families as well and other business owners moving forward.
That's awesome. So you mentioned not growing up in a legal family. Same here. I grew up in a construction family. So what was the impetus originally to go to law school?
So after college, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I was a single mom. I had a lot
Mhm.
of responsibility. I needed to pick a career path that helped me to provide for my son. I had a professor in college and I asked him, he was actually a priest,
Oh.
and I asked him, what's the secret to happiness? And he told me the secret is find something that you love to do, figure out how to make money at it, and live nearby where you work. That was the key. Don't go long commute.
No long commutes. I'm with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I kind of took time to assess like what are my natural skill sets. I really enjoy communicating with people, connecting. I enjoyed reading, learning, and critical thinking. So thinking of all of those skill sets and then also being able to help other people, that was really important to me. And also after college, I did have one aunt who was a small town, like local lawyer who helped the elderly community. She actually passed away my first year of law school, but I got to work with her one summer, and in her law office, people would call up with all different types of random problems. She was like literally the community resource and not a good businesswoman. So she did not have money to spend. But she would get a ton of calls from people and they would ask her all these random questions. And she would just say, tell them that I'm going to look into it and give me 3 hours and I'll call them back. And she would just research like all these different laws and processes. And she was such an important resource to the elderly community where we lived. And I just thought, wow, like if she can do that, like maybe I could do that too. And I would love to be able to do that for people. So that was definitely a transitional and important moment for me in my life. And I'm so glad that I got that summer with her to work with her and, realize that it's something that I could do and that I wanted to do. So that helped me decide to go to law school.
Wow, that's a beautiful story. Yeah,
Thank
I'm
you.
sure your kids will be proud when they hear that later on. Maybe not, maybe too soon now, but later on.
Well, that is part of why, my aunt had, she was a solo practitioner. She had
Mhm.
her little office locally, and that's kind of my goal. Like, I want to build my own community and be able to be a resource to other families and parents and business owners. And maybe one day my children will take over the law firm. Of course, that's certainly my goal. And I feel like that's a common goal for business owners, small business owners. They're hoping to pass on their business to the next generation and their family. But in order to do that, they really need to have an estate plan in place.
Yeah.
It's super important. And I think that, we always think like, oh, we have time to do things down the road. But the truth is that tomorrow is not guaranteed.
Mhm.
And business owners, particularly, really need to have their estate plan in place because oftentimes their small business is their primary source of income for their family.
It's true.
And if that's the case, if, God forbid you passed away, then your business might have to go through a court process called probate. And that can totally stall business. I mean, probate court, not to get into a lot of that, I guess I could. Why not? But essentially, as business owners, the estate planning process can help ensure continuity of your business
Mhm.
because you can avoid probate by putting trust into place, buy sell agreements, other things that can really help you transition your business if you are unable to operate it for whatever reason. So,
Mhm. Even
whether
temporarily. Mhm.
yeah, exactly. So, by having the durable powers of attorney and things like that in place, where you specifically give legal authority to someone else to carry on the business after you. And a part of your estate plan for business owners, particularly, is setting out those guidelines and putting those documents into place. Without that, if you have no will, um,
Yeah.
well,
Shocking.
really, if you have no will, then, people aren't
Shocking.
going to know what to do, right? But even with a will, which is like another thing that I learned doing my own estate plan, which I really didn't know much about, but when you, now I help other people, but when I was first realizing this, you think like you accomplish a certain level of success, right? You finish your degree, or, you're running a business, or all of these things. But if you're not spending time researching or looking into a particular area, you might not realize. So just putting a will into place for your family, that's actually not going to help your family or your assets avoid the court process if you pass away. So in order to avoid the court process, you have to create a trust. Or that's one of the mechanisms to avoid probate court, and it's a really important mechanism. So by creating that trust, you can avoid probate. Why would anyone want to avoid probate? Why not just let the courts do it, right? Well, if you pass away and your family has to put your business through probate court, that can totally stall your business from 9 months to a year, right? No one's running your business, no clients, no money coming in for the business, no employees. They're going to leave and get another job, right? So you can avoid that by putting an estate plan in place, having your trust, your power of attorney, buy-sell agreement, so that everyone knows what's going to happen, who's running what. Depending on the structure of your business, you might be a sole proprietor, an LLC, an S corp. You might have a partner. So these are things that all need to be discussed, and that way everyone understands what's going to happen. You might want your business to go to one child, not all of your children. Well, then how do you account for that, right? To make it fair for everybody, so that if one child knows more about the business and wants to run it, but maybe your other children should also have the same financial equivalent in inheritance, right?
Yeah.
So those are things that I help people to think about and plan for. Oh, but I think I got off track. So I wanted to just emphasize, why are some reasons that you might want to avoid probate court? In order to do that, you can meet with an estate planning attorney like myself. But probate court, it's public. So everyone's going to know.
Everybody's going to know your business. Everybody's going to know your business.
What are your assets? Who's inheriting them and when? So that leaves your family potentially up to the vulnerability of someone who's going to take advantage of them. The other aspect of the public nature is it invites conflict. So even the most harmonious families, once you get into probate litigation, it can be
litigation.
You're in litigation. It can become contentious. You maybe fail to put a will together, so you don't have written documentation of what your wishes are. So people can disagree what they think you wanted. So it's really important to get this in place. That way everyone at least knows, what did you want, right? So by a will, you can document what you want, but that will still has to go through the probate court. So it's public. It's time consuming, the 9 months to a year. Some states it takes even longer. It's really state specific, but the time consuming aspect, you want your family to just be able to mourn and grieve and move forward and not have to be going through this timely process, right? It's stressful, opens everything up to conflict. The other thing is the cost. It's estimated that probate court can cost anywhere from 3 to 7% of the gross assets that have to pass through probate. So if you have $1 million estate between property, businesses, bank accounts, whatever else needs to go through probate, that's $30,000 to $70,000 that's coming out of your estate, out of your inheritance, just in the fees alone going through the process. So that's certainly something to think about, the cost. So how can you avoid those fees? Avoid probate, create a trust with an estate planning attorney.
That's awesome. So you're going out and spreading that. I think you said you were doing some outreach, some speaking.
Yes, definitely. Trying to connect with local business owners, and really like business owners and parents, I feel like are the people that I connect with the most, because I'm an entrepreneur myself. I own my own
and a parent.
And a parent, yeah.
And a parent.
And definitely for parents with minor children, it's really an important consideration, because you want to think about, who do you want to have the responsibility of caring for your children? And do you want it to be like a family member or not? You want to think about what values do you want to pass along to your children, who lives geographically close to you. These are all considerations, and you want to have it in writing, because again, family members might disagree about what they think your wishes are as to who should raise your children if you're not able to. So it's really important to get this into place. Even something I go over with people is sometimes, you might have a family member who a judge on paper would assign to be the guardian for your children.
Mm-hmm.
And it might be someone who, for some private reason that you know about, you would never want to have custody of your children. And there are ways to document that confidentially,
Mm-hmm.
to ensure or help prevent or discourage them from trying to get guardianship over your children. Those are all things that I put into place for people from my estate plans that I work with people on. And it's definitely a consideration. It's something really important. The other thing is that minor children can't just inherit directly. So even if you have minor children listed on your insurance policy as the beneficiaries, well, that's going to have to be probated now. So your $1 million life insurance policy where your minor child is listed as a beneficiary, now you're going through probate court because a trust has to be created and a trustee needs to be assigned in order to monitor that for your minor children.
Yeah,
So there's a lot to consider. Yeah. And definitely business owners, it's so important contacting an estate planning attorney. I help my clients think about how's your business formed? Do you have the proper insurance in place to cover you? And, planning that succession planning, really talking with your partners, talking with your family about what is best, and even for yourself, if you're a business owner and you have a partner, you're going to want to ask them, do you have your estate plan in place?
Yes.
Because you might not want to be running this business with your partner's wife or your
That's
partner's
right.
husband or your partner's spouse, so these are all things to talk about, to consider. And that's what I really enjoy about it. I love helping people think about these things and documenting what they want. You're working so hard for your business to grow. You're working so hard to provide for your family. So what do you want to happen if you're not around? You want to preserve your legacy. I love helping families do that, and business owners as well.
Yeah, it's a lot of tough conversations that you're handling there, Rose. So what made you want to go? Yeah, what made you want to go into business for yourself?
Because I wanted to be able to connect with people. When you're working at a firm, I felt like it has to be high volume, understandably, because they're running a business too. But being on my own, I can really better control, the quality of service I'm providing and, who I'm working with and how I'm supporting my clients. So that's really my goal.
I love that. And I know you have children, so that's like your main work outside of work or joy outside of work, however you want to characterize it. Anything else you like to do outside of work?
Travel. I love traveling and getting to experience, how people are living in different areas. What are they, what is life like? It's just so amazing, that there are so many people in the world who are experiencing so many different things simultaneously. And I really enjoy that.
Love it. What's your favorite place?
Rome.
Rome. When in Rome. I know. When in Rome. When in Rome. All roads lead to Rome. Oh, I love it. Yes. Excellent choice. Wonderful. Well, good. Well, how do people find you?
I'm on most social media platforms, Rose Harper Law. They can also go to our website, roseharperlaw.com. Yeah, we're pretty accessible.
That's awesome.
We hope to hear from you if you need us.
Yeah. And you practice in New York. So that's
New York and New Jersey.
New York
and I
and
have
New Jersey.
an attorney in Pennsylvania. So we're expanding, we're growing.
Oh, I love that. Well, good. I'll have to invite you to a women-owned law event if you haven't been to one of those yet.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah,
Thank you.
awesome. Well, thanks everybody again for listening to the Success Partner podcast. Today we have Rose Harper of Rose Harper Law, and more to come. Please subscribe and stay tuned.
Thank you so much.